Hi guys, so today I'm super happy to share with you some of the new items that Spellbinders launched for May. I don't know why I would say launched. Anyway, for May of 2023. Some of these items are actually bundled in the Glimmer kits that they had put out for their Glimmer workshop, so you can still watch the workshop, replay it, you know, have the items and make the beautiful cards that they made, or toppers that they made during that time. It was something that happened on May 13th, I believe. But like I said, it's still available for replay, and you can see it on Spellbinders' site or on their YouTube. I believe now it's listed as one of the videos you can check out. So definitely check that out. These items are sent free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links I'll have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. The reason I also mentioned the workshop is because I know I did a haul recently of items that I picked up, and some of these things were also in that haul, so it might be a repeat, but we will try some of these things out today. I feel like a lot of these items go together really well. So there are, like this Hello Blooms, it's a stencil and a die that you can pick up. Again, these can be, you know, separate like this. They can be in that bundle deal. I think they had another bundle deal for like this Annie Williams items, but that has sold out. So I'll link, again, like I always do, all, you know, so you can see all the new things in May, and then the different collections, and then whatever I use here today separately, I'll link in the description box. Some of these items you might be able to find there also on scrapbook.com. I'll link those too. I think we're going to play with this one today because I feel like this is a very staple kind of background beautiful item, and it's called Hello Bloom. So you have this die and then the hello that it comes with, so the sweet little hello, and then the background for that. You have the stencil. Of course, the stencil can just be put on a card topper and then maybe add a sentiment and you're good to go. You don't have to cut it out, but they do have that option, of course. Along with this, I'll probably use maybe the fine detailed brushes. It just depends on what colors I need to use and what steps. But hopefully you can see on this large 8.5 by 11 stencil, there are 4 areas basically, and that's how you're going to build up your flowers. So it's going to be really, really sweet and I think quick. So we have those guys. Another thing they came out with was just like a ton of glimmer plates, and they kind of go along with this hexy gem shape, but we can just check these guys out. Again, they're just like card toppers. The reason I said they go along with these is because some of them, they fit in there, but not all of them. Like this one's a little bit bigger. We have all of my favorite things: pizza, coffee, cake, and you. So cute. This card is full of hugs, best wishes on your birthday, buy me craft supplies, and call me pretty. And that's so funny. A giant thank you, and then little card, big hello, which is very sweet for every day. A hot foil plate that I'm telling you guys, if you watch the Glimmer workshop, they just did so much fun using these awesome plates. So I have that guy to share with you. This is a Stitch Kaleidoscope Hexy Gem die set, and I didn't notice that this had stitching, so if you want to use that, you don't have to. You can do these beautiful kaleidoscopes. So just bringing together some of the things that Spellbinders does like so well, which are like the kaleidoscope, their stitching dies, and they're here on this one. You know, I love their reflections dies. There's all kinds of different things that Spellbinders does, and this is a way of putting 2 of those kind of techniques together. Really cute. Again, you can do the stitching or not. It can just be left off. If you're having the Hexy Gems layering set or nesting dies, you can pop one of those guys in here and not use the stitching if you don't want. Just another way to play with those. So there's that. Oh, you know what? This is part of the Simon Hurley stuff, so let me put that over there. We have, again, sentiments, a whole stack. I love this kind of thing. I think it's awesome. You're just going to foil that whole thing and then just run it through, and you have, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 sentiments all at once. So really great. Happy birthday, love you more, with sympathy. I mean, it's great for every day and all occasions. Thinking of you, thanks so much, sending a note. Get well wishes and congratulations. And this is just a beautiful Hexy Gem Blooms. I mean, just lovely. And of course it has the foil plate and then to die cut. So if you want to, you know, use it that way, you have that option. Those are just kind of some of the staples for like the Glimmer. These are some items. I'm just going to run through them right quick just to show you some of the different things in May, and of course we will tutorialize those later. Simon Hurley has the Photosynthesis collection, and this is what I received. Unfortunately, I don't have some of the florals, so they have some really pretty florals and like little vases. Oh my gosh, the little vases are so cute. I think it's like 8 or 10 little vases so you can pop the flowers in, and it's a die set that is really adorable. But I have the sentiments. I love his sentiments, especially this kind of thing. I think he put something out like this during Christmas time. So hello, just a note, thank you, thinking of you, sending hugs, love you bunch. And where the other ones are like strips, you know, like straight, these are just, you know, different positioning and things. So, you know, maybe 2 lines, but the die cuts them out perfectly around the edges, which is really fun. So super happy to have that. There's another thing from that same collection. This zigzag chevron background. What's fun, again, if you cut it out twice and layer one way, put the other one the other way, it gives a really fun effect, or just have that right there. Awesome, A2 size. Hot foil plates that make like these really awesome modern stripes, and you think it's all one plate, but it is 3 different pieces, so you can mix and match them, or just, you know, maybe across your card have one kind of doing something fun, or up and down. This is very versatile, really sweet. And this is another set that is like a little floral panel, and I'm sorry I don't have the name of it right now, but again, I get samples, and sometimes my samples look like this, and sometimes they are packaged the way they would be when you receive it. So we have this awesome background panel. You have this inlay. So pretty. The inlay is all textured and really gorgeous. You have layered flowers that you can then pop in there, and these are clearly like daffodils. Really, really pretty. And then the little centers for your daffodils, and then some extra greenery that goes back into these panels. So just a really gorgeous collection. Like I said, there's a floral set that's just all these little flowers that are really, really fun. And then the vases. And then we have this set from Annie Williams. So I don't think I have anything, or yeah, from this designer. So this is really nice. So this is Country Wheelbarrow. Basically, I believe I would say this is the main set. And I'm sorry, I couldn't tell what was the front or the back, because it looks like it should be this way, but then this one has information on the front. I don't know. What's cool about this one is that it has all the photopolymer stamps with like all the different sentiments that would go along throughout the year with this little cutie. I think this is so cute. So this is welcome sign and sentiment. So you have your little sign there, you have the little post, or you can hang it, or however. It has this little guy, put it all together. I mean, how cute is that? So that's one of the staple items that is adorable. Look at the little tulips. Oh my gosh. That is so cute. So again, this is the signs, and then it has little inlays. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry, look at that. So you have like the little fall and winter, you know, represented spring and summer there. Oh my gosh, a little leaf on that one, and then this one's like a little ray of sunshine. So you have some different options even for the different seasons. This one is Rustic Garden, and I mean, you guys, the water pump, I mean, oh, look at the little flowers and like the barrel and everything. So this one has the water pump and like a wheel, you know, and some fun things like that, the barrel, some like posts and things, I suppose, to make like a little fence. So these are just like the extra add-on type things, some different parts to, you know, flesh out your items there. This one is the seasonal decor, and as you can see, it has like the little pepper pears and like a bell pepper, so you know, your spring, your fall, your winter, your Easter eggs are in there. A little, I would say it looks like a little load of like firewood. I mean, how cute. The pumpkins and little tomatoes, so all kinds of things in there to flesh out your design. This is what I was looking for. This is the garden builder. So as you saw the florals in the other sets there, look at this one. It's like a hostess or something. How pretty. Oh my gosh. The little cat silhouette. All the flowers with different layers, centers, you know, sprigs, like wheat. I mean, there's just so much. Really well thought out. Super cute. Oh my goodness. And then the wheelbarrow, as we start off with the Country Wheelbarrow. I mean, how cute is that? So you have your wheelbarrow, not too many pieces to put that guy together, and then whatever you want to pop in there, a bunch of pumpkins. I mean, how cute would that be? So again, your main wheelbarrow, some accent pieces, and just what you see here, you know, just pop it together. So we will definitely play with these very soon. Today I want to focus, like I said, on this one. I think what I might do is a couple of cards, maybe one with just the background, and then maybe a foil one of the, you know, this card is full of hugs or something. Let's foil something on that, and then another one where we're going to stencil and cut it out and just make it a card on its own. So I will grab some paper and I'll inks and all that kind of good stuff, and I'll be right back. Let's put these things to the side for right now. For this first one, I am going to cut it out with the die because we have it, so let's do that. And if not, you can just make it a topper, and I'll do that kind of on the second one, right, where I do the foiling. So I did cut these down. It's not important for this one because we're going to cut it out anyway, but that'll give you an idea of what that looks like. And I want to make sure, I guess we can see that from here. You know, the biggest area will be fine. Yeah, so I cut this down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and since I did that, it is like right there, right, as far as the top and the bottom on my paper. So you might want to start with 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, right, your full expression there of paper because we need that. And then I was kind of looking at it. So it's interesting. It says 1, 2, 3, 4. And like I say with all stencils, do whatever you like, whatever you feel most comfortable with. You definitely want to make sure that when, like, if you're going to keep it on here and you go to do this stuff or die cutting, that it fits within your paper. So I'm looking, it has registration marks, and you can definitely color those in, especially if you're going to cut it out. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to have those, right? The die is going to cut that for you. But I'm just going to kind of center this in here. Basic, you know, even here, this, I don't know if you see, this greenery is hanging outside of what you would think is the dot for this one. The dots are just there again as registration marks. I kind of feel like I should probably start with this just to make sure my paper can accommodate everything and I won't miss something. So I'm actually going to start with my leaves for that reason, because I cut my paper down and I want to make sure that we're good. Now, the rest of my stencil is out of frame. Let's pick this up and put it down. Again, I'm cutting this out for right now, so I don't care. I'm just putting it on here. And I am going to put a little bit of tape just to hold my stencil, although it's not holding the paper at all, right? Because my paper has been trimmed down. And if you want to color in your registration marks, you can definitely do that. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that because I'm not going to do the whole thing. Now, there are some different things on this specific part. And I'm going to close up a little bit, but I know it's going to get rid of some of this bottom part just because of where I put this. You have leaves. You also have like little centers. And if you look at this, your leaves, and then center, center. Maybe you want that center to be lighter color. You know, this one's a little bit small. Let me see what we got. I'm trying to see what flowers these are. Oh, interesting. I think this is, I would say the image is reversed. But you can also flip your stencil if you want it, but then the die cutting will be different. Let's just not get into it. I just want to see exactly what we're doing here. So we have this guy, that's going to be dark, that's dark, and that's dark. Okay, so these centers that we have on this number 3 should be a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is actually grab my stencil brushes that I mentioned earlier. And I actually didn't pull anything out for this part of it, so let's see. Now again, I'm starting with this just because I'm going to die cut and I want to make sure my paper that I can do it. On the next one we're going to start with 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to follow along, okay? So it's possible that you can just do the green leaves and then come back and do the centers. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't want to confuse people, but at the same time I want you to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's do that. Let's come back and do the centers after we've done this. But for right now, I just want to make sure that I have this so that I'm not inking or, you know, missing my ink. So I don't want to ink that area, of course. And if you want the registration mark to be inked, you can just put some little ink on there. And I'm using a large blending brush, but Spellbinders just put out these mini blending brush sets for this purpose, because they do have some stencils where some of the colors aren't going to be the same in every area of the stencil. I think last month they had put out some stencils that you can die cut also, but some of the flowers and the leaves were all like on the same stencil, so that you would have, you know, maybe 6 stencils instead of like 20, right? So these are going to be great for that. But let me put that down, and then we have this area. And again, I'm just getting color down. Again, if you want to put little green in that registration mark, that'd be fine. And again, recall, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can go ahead and do your centers, but I'm just doing this just to know that I have paper for my leaves since I cut my paper down smaller. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. Generally, we would go ahead and do our centers, but I'm not going to do that. And as far as registration marks, I didn't do it down here, but let me go ahead and do that just so we have a little bit of that info. Okay, and I would definitely wait till I was done with my project to rinse off my stencils, although normally I rinse them off as I go. So let's bring this back. We have some little registration marks, so I'm just looking at that little light green that I have there. I have it here. I have some here, and yeah, they lined up perfectly, so I'm just going to assume that that's where it goes. I mean, you can see where, maybe you can see where the green ends and this starts. They're not overlapping or anything, so I think that was great. So I'm gonna put this up here, this down here, and this should be our lighter flower. Of course, it's whatever you want. So the colors of the flowers, the reason I'm saying lighter is like this light pink, light pink, light pink, light pink. And then the darker ones pop in behind, but there's also a dark accent. So I am going to start with my light purple. And then on the next one, I'm going to do even lighter because I want to foil over and I really want it to pop. So let's do the lighter purple, even though it still looks pretty deep. And I just kind of, you know, add the color as deep as you would like. And then these little guys up here. Oh no, my neighbor is doing something loud, sorry guys. And then down here. And you know, just be careful, like I can see this, I know it's out of frame, but down here there's a little bit of leaf from set 3 sticking out there, and I don't want to color that. Okay, so you have that guy. So that would have been number 1 to begin with. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit so you guys can see that better. I was going to say, where did this blue come from? Okay, that would have been number 1. It would have just been the flowers, do your registration marks, and you're good to go. Number 2 is going to be the darker accents, darker flowers, accent pieces. And I'm lining up, you know, the little registration marks. That works out real well. So I don't use registration marks like on the next one that I'm going to show you guys, because we don't want that on our card, right? I'm going to use the whole card front. And you can always trim it down and matte layer and things like that, but for now, we're just doing that. And I'm going to go in with the darker purple, which I chose this color here. And that's going to give us some darker flowers, tucked behind that lighter color flower, and this whole center area, so you really want to get in there with that. And I'm just doing a little bit darker. I really want these to pop. There we go. And then it does also do this one down here. And just kind of spreading that color out. And then this guy up here. Okay. Very good. And let's see how pretty. Look at that. So cute. Loving those colors. And we already did this next one, but now we can bring this back, right? And I'm going to have to pick this up to get this in the way. Where is this? Oh, over here. Our registration marks can also help us. And of course, there's, oh, that's the opposite. These are really close together. Make sure it's the ones that are closest to your image that you're using. And that looks pretty good. And all we're doing right now is doing the flower centers. Now, I use some really dark colors, so the flower centers may or may not show up the way you want it, but generally this one that you're doing now should be like a lighter color than the next one we're going to do on the next step. So I'll pick something. I don't even know if it's going to show up, to be honest. What do we want to use? Let's... those are pretty dark. Let's go with this brown. And then I'm going to just use like this guy. And this brown is kind of dark, but I need it to be something that pops, right? So let's pop that on there. And then the next one hopefully is that much darker. I'll just use something that's even darker. Like right now, I don't think it's going to show up too much on that purple. But whenever you ink, you add color, you are adding something. So it's going to be different from the purple just being by itself, right? And then this here. And I am so sorry, I do not know what the neighbors are doing, but I might have to pause for a while and then finish up. I think I will do that because I can hear it. You can probably simply hear it. Whatever yard work is going on. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is just rinse off my stencil. The reason I was saying I'm not going to rinse the stencil yet is because I didn't want to have to deal with the water and make sure it's all nice and dry, you know, before we move on. But look how pretty, even that brown, like I said, it's there. And the next one, maybe I'll do even a darker brown or maybe like black to make those last bits pop. But we're going to add the rest of our stems. And let me rinse this off and I'll be right back. So the pressure washing of my neighbor's roof is done now, so let's continue on. You know what I'm going to do? Since I had to take a little break and kind of go think about, you know, whatever I was doing here, these are not, these little dots are not part of the design. It's just, again, the registration marks. And it has to be the second set. Let me move this down just a little bit. I think for the very center on this one, I'm going to use like some, what's it called? Oops, that's the wrong dot. This one. Let me just show you. These 4 dots here in the center. Obviously, this one goes to this one goes to that one, this one goes here, this one goes here. So we got to line those guys up. Is to use a little, like, maybe some kind of glimmer paste or something fun like that for the very center. It's just a little glimmer showing through there. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and finish up with the dark green, because this was, originally I was going to use dark green on this, so let's go ahead and do that still. So we're lining that up. And I'm going to use the dark green, guys. And then on this little middle part, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use some Glimmer kind of stencil stuff, or glitter, should I say. But I'm going to go ahead and run it through with the dye first. That way I don't have to wait for that to dry before I use the dye, because then that would be like hours from now, if not like the next day, because you don't want to run that through in case it's still a little bit wet underneath. It's going to squeeze out, right? So we don't want that. So dark green. And even if I got dark green in that little dot, it's not the biggest deal in the center because it doesn't matter. But I'm going to put it here and here and all these little spots. And I'm going with dark green. I think in the example they're using like a brown or something. Oh, yeah, I should probably stop dipping it. That's plenty saturated. Right here, one more. One more little dip. Okay. And I'm going ahead and remove that. Like I said, we'll do the little dot in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off. But in the meantime, I'll also go ahead and run through. How pretty. That's really, really gorgeous. I'll run this guy through. And I think we can probably see, oh, you know, it's funny on this here, I was like, oh, it's reversed. It's not reversed. They just had it cut and then they positioned it this way, right? That's why it looked different. But obviously you can position it however you like. So there we go. I'm going to just place this, you know, seeing my little flowers, seeing the little white edging, a little bit there, maybe a little bit up or more up here. Right in there, maybe a little more this way. I'm just kind of looking all around and just making sure of my placement. I'm gonna go ahead and tape that down as not to move so I can run it through and have that cut out. Okay, so I'll be right back. Guys, so let's get this guy out. Sorry about that snap. I already have my Glimmer plugged in, warming up for the next one. But for this guy, oh wow. Oh, that's so nice, because some of the areas it's hard like to see right here. It does cut a little more delicately in there. What am I doing? Here we go. This area right here, it has like some little spots that it does cut out, which is really nice. I always love when they add a little more delicate feel, like those little areas cut. And what I'm going to do right quick is just bring back the stencil. And that would be this one this way. And again, you guys, I never tell people do this, do that, you should do it this way, or you should do it that way. If anything, I say probably too often, do what you like, right? That's just how I am. So it's gonna be like that, and I didn't open this, and I should have. I'm just grab the Glimmer paste that I thought would look pretty, and just get a little of that, and just kind of squish it right through there. This one too, a little bit there, just like a bronze color I'm using. And then this other guy, definitely you should stick this down, not just do what I'm kind of going for it. Okay, and just in those areas, I think that's all there were. Yep. Oh, how cute. Just a little bit in those two, and then the center ones here, and then this little guy right there. And I'm gonna let that dry, and like I said, my Glimmer's heating up. I'm gonna go clean this off, and I'll be right back. I'll put it to the side, like I said. That is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, for this next one, I'm just going to take this, and I am going to make sure it's really nice and centered. I'm gonna do all this pretty much off camera. It's gonna be the exact same thing you just saw me do, but I'm gonna use like very light kind of pastel colors, maybe some yellow, I don't know, something light for the flowers. That way when we do the foiling, it just really stands out. So, you know, same thing. Now I have an idea kind of where, you know, this needs to be, but you also want to make sure it's nice and centered, you know. So I might still start with the leaves, this one, because I just feel like that one, I can get a really good idea of where everything is. And so light green, you know, don't do the centers yet. I'm going to do, then go over to 1 and then 2 and then finish up you know, with my centers and everything. But pretty much what I just did right now, but with very light colors. Okay, so I'll be right back. So that's what I came up with. I was looking for yellow. It came out a little more peachy, orangey. I love that. So pretty. And then, you know, I kind of tilted it. I don't know if you noticed the orientation of the one's a little bit more this way, just so it would fill in the way I wanted it for this card. But in doing so, I really had to line everything up on my own because there weren't any registration marks at that point, right? And again, my card topper, I wouldn't use registration marks, but I did turn it instead of just it being one to the next to the next. I had to kind of line that up. And you know, I can put my wording here. I can put it this way. I just feel like this is the up. I don't know. So that's fine. I just grabbed this satin rose gold. I just went over to my stash and saw what would be pretty with this coloration, and this card is full of hugs, so that's what we're going to glimmer on here. My glimmer is ready. It's been ready. I turned it on earlier and I kind of just left it there. It will turn off on its own though automatically if you leave it on too long without it being, you know, like messed with, like if I wasn't pressing timer anymore. And so actually, see what I mentioned? It already did. So it turned off. So I'm just going to flick the switch and then flick it back on and it will come back on. So I would say without it being messed with for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, right? It turned off, so that's pretty nice. Again, it's warming up again. It's still pretty hot, I can feel that, but it must have just switched off, to be honest, because I had just grabbed it and brought it over here and then I went to get the foil and then it was off. So let's see. I'm gonna cut this piece off. My goodness, you guys, I need to bring out my foil trimmer so we can try that, the Spellbinders foil trimmer. So again, with this stuff, I always cut it just so that it clears, you know, whatever sentiment or whatever you're trying, you know, plate that you're trying to foil. That way you don't get a lot of overfoiling and you're also not wasting the product, right? Now, if you know that later you want to use something else to get the reverse or the negative of this, you know, what's left over, then maybe you want to cut it a little bit larger. What I'm saying is if you have like one of those plates like the one I showed you at the beginning, the gem plate, you can definitely do that. Okay, so whenever you're doing it this way, now what you want to do is obviously pay attention to your direction, if that's what's, you know, important to you. And this one, to be honest, if I had it this way or this way, it wouldn't matter. I think the card would look pretty either way. And I'm just going to put that on there and just kind of pay attention to how straight my wording is here and centered, right? I think maybe I can bring it up just a little bit. And if you're building it up the way I am with any foiling system, the Glimmer or whatever it is you're using, the pretty part should be facing you because your plate's going to push that into your card. And I mean, I'm just gonna eyeball that and just be happy. So let's put that there. Just eyeballing this again. Something like that. And I'm gonna tape it down because I don't want this to move when I flip it over to my base here. So foil pretty side facing you. Foil plate facing down, and then we're going to turn it over and put it on here. Your plate has to be touching that surface. If you do it the other way, which sometimes I do, I'll put the paper facing down and then everything else, that's not great. Foil plate needs to be touching, and I always put everything on top and I press timer. You know, when I was watching the Glimmer workshop this weekend, they put the foil plate with the foil, just let it warm up, and then once it says the timer's ready, then they put the paper and the other things and run it through. So, you know, whatever works for you. And let me put this here, here, and I'll be back when the timer goes off. What that means, it doesn't make a sound, it just stops blinking. I'll be back. Okay, guys, timer went off. I will say also when I was at the Glimmer workshop, they were like leaving it on there, and then, you know, they would talk about things and they would do the timer, and then they would, you know, and I have a feeling it's just foolproof. Because I'm like, that is way longer than the time that the timer, you know, depicted. But and she did it very slowly. I'm going to go back in the other direction. Now, don't do those things if you're afraid. Because definitely rolling back, if it moved, it could give you some ghosting or some double foiling or something weird like that. But generally I do it, just, it's not a problem. So let's get this guy up out of here. Like that. And let's see what we got. Aw, this card is full of hugs. I can see my eye on Is did not quite make it. Now, that's interesting because I bet you I could probably do it again if I laid this down, but unfortunately I didn't get that one. So that is how it's going to look today. I'm not going to redo it, but I'll be right back. A couple things. I think what I learned about this one, because I did the stenciling, you know, obviously the inks are wet, and I probably should have just waited a little bit longer because pretty much everything got it, except for like in this area where like there was, you know, a couple layers of ink, and same thing here. It was very much quite a bit of ink that I laid down there to get that orangey kind of yellow to really pop. So I think next time I'll just let it dry really well, and then I'm sure it'll be fine because I've just never seen that. But you know what's kind of funny is that this kind of rose gold bronzy, I know those are different colors, but glitter really matches this. So I think what I'm gonna do is get some just on a brush and just kind of fill it in because it's very similar, and I have a feeling if I just lay it out there, at least it's not something that's gonna be super noticeable if my eye is missing, you know. So I think I might do that. Anyhow, oh, I also have metallic paints. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, you know what? If somebody should make markers or metallic markers that match this stuff. That way, if you have a little boo-boo, you can just color it in and no one will notice. That'd be very good. But, you know, I don't know how to invent those kinds of things, so there it is. But anyway, I have a A2 size card base, and with this one, I'm just going to glue it down. And that is my card. Maybe I'll add some little, like, sparkles or something here and there. We'll see. And on this one, I have a white piece of cardstock just cut down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 because that's what I like to mat my A2 size cards with. I'm going to run it through an embossing folder just to get some texture. We'll bring this pretty boy back, and then we have the sentiments. Oops. Here we go. So yeah, definitely if you're stenciling, I would say let it dry. I know whenever I was watching the Glimmer workshop, they did, and that's another thing, you can do the foiling first and then the stenciling. I would just hate to rub on it with a brush and then rub away some of the gold foiling because it can be sensitive, you know, so that's why I did it the way I did it. But you know, do whatever you like and report back. Let me know how that went. I'm gonna run these through also, so probably the hello, maybe with some gold background and maybe like purple lettering or something just to bring some of that purple out. Okay, and I'll be right back. I have my gorgeous, oh my gosh, this is the February 2023 embossing folder, 3D embossing folder of the month, and it is one of my favorites. I mean, that thing is gorgeous. Okay, so we're just gonna glue that down, and then I ran my little lettering afterwards because I know the HELL part is separate from the O, and I'm not sure why, but that's how they did it. I know they do that sometimes with some other dyes. I'm like, we could just put it all together. That'd be great. But we have a portion of it separate, so let's go ahead and take that out. Super delicate, and what I'm going to do is just put that onto here. And I'm sorry if it looks crazy because I know sometimes I have shiny things. My camera's like, nope. So we will get this on here, and I would put this glue on the back of my hand, which I'm going to tap off a little bit right now, but the other day when I did that, my hand got a little red, and I don't know if it's the glue or the metal, so, you know, it's kind of touching my hand there. And so until I find that out, I have some glue on my hand right now, I'm just not gonna do that. There we go. Oh, that is so cute. So, okay, I'm gonna hold that down just to make sure it's all adhered, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, unfortunately, I was just trying to remember something because I had noticed how this says letterpress, and it's basically, you can use it with the BetterPress stuff, but there was something about that. I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but when I review the BetterPress for you guys, I do have it. I just can't show it quite yet. They're interchangeable, but only one way on, like, the, platinum machine. Like, these machines can take both, but I think you can't put these guys in the letterpress. I hope that makes sense. So like the letterpress or BetterPress ones can go into the platinum, but they can't go the other way, I believe. But we'll talk more about that whenever it launches and I have that info fresh in mind. I don't remember right now. But anyhow, so we're a little hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue this down, and then I'm just gonna glue this down. Oh, should we do it this way? I wasn't planning on it. Yeah, sure. So it's different from that one. Okay, I'll glue that down. I'm going to glue this down, and then this guy will be popped up. So I'll be right back. Stick this down. I was going to stick this guy down. I went ahead and put glue on the background, but on these parts I put some dimensional just to give it some added dimension, which we've been talking about recently. So down in there, but then this guy is up and this guy's up. and I'll hold the rest of it down and I will be back. Okay guys. Oh, what I meant earlier as far as through the Spellbinders machine, I mean like if you can use in the Glimmer and the Better Press, right? So that's what I was talking about. And let's put this little guy down here. This is so pretty. Oh my gosh. I love it. Look at that. So much movement. Just super pretty. So much detail. Love it. And then this guy, again, I did fill in a little bit of that with the Glimmer, with my shimmer paste that I had just to fill in the eye, but once it dries it'll be a little shinier. It'll look more like this one. And that's that, guys. So again, next time I do this I will definitely let it dry completely before I go into foiling. I think it'll make a difference. I mean, it worked really well in some other spots. Just that one little spot that was probably a little more saturated than anything else, right? Like in this area too. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box. I thought I said I'll have the links coming up, but anyway, images coming up, links in the description box. Thank you so much, Spellbinders, for sending these items for review. That was a lot of fun. I really like trying it out in different cards, and now I have 2 cards to play with, so, or to use, should I say. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.